Imagine this moment. A sleek, futuristic spacecraft hurtling skyward from the vast, windswept sands of the Gobi Desert. Inside, a crew of astronauts sits quietly, trusting not just in technology, but in decades of human ingenuity and ambition. Suddenly, alarms blare. Instead of disaster, cameras capture an astonishing sight. A streamlined safety capsule bursts away, enveloped in a cocoon of cushioning airbags, and lands softly back on Earth. This is not a scene from a science fiction film or a Hollywood blockbuster. This is real life, and it just happened. It marks a pivotal milestone in humanity's renewed race to the moon in the 21st century. In early June of the year 2025, the world watched as China's next-generation Mengzhou spacecraft completed a flawless zero-altitude emergency escape test at the iconic Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. Why does this matter so much? Because this single event is more than a technical demonstration. It is China's boldest statement yet. They do not just intend to return to the moon, they intend to establish a permanent presence there. The successful test was not only about ensuring astronaut safety in the event of a launch pad catastrophe. It was a clear signal that China's lunar dreams have moved from the realm of aspiration to reality. Let's rewind the story for a moment. China's lunar exploration program, named after Chang'e, the legendary moon goddess from Chinese mythology, began more than 2 decades ago. Since the year 2004, the nation has meticulously mapped the moon's surface, landed sophisticated robotic explorers, and even achieved the remarkable feat of bringing lunar rock samples back to Earth. Missions such as Chang'e 1, which orbited and mapped the moon, and Chang'e 5, which returned precious soil samples, have not only pushed technological boundaries but also captured the public imagination, transforming China's space industry into a global contender. But today, China's ambitions reach far beyond fleeting visits or symbolic gestures. The Mengzhou spacecraft, representing a new generation of crewed vehicles, is engineered for repeated lunar journeys. It features state-of-the-art life support systems designed to drastically reduce reliance on supplies from Earth. The ultimate vision? To build a self-sustaining lunar base near the moon's enigmatic South Pole by the early years of the 2030s. Why the South Pole? Because data from multiple missions point to abundant ice deposits nestled in permanently shadowed craters. This ice, if harvested and processed, could provide water, oxygen, and the hydrogen needed to create rocket fuel, potentially turning the moon into a springboard for deeper space exploration, including the long-dreamed-of missions to Mars. Yet beneath the optimism and the headlines, a new kind of rivalry is emerging, not just for technological bragging rights, but for control over the moon's resources, and by extension, influence over the future of space travel. The United States and China are now presenting 2 sharply contrasting visions. The United States, through its Artemis Accords, advocates for a broad, multinational alliance in lunar exploration, emphasizing transparency and shared benefits. China, on the other hand, is charting a path anchored in self-sufficiency, practical applications, and the direct use of lunar resources to support long-term human settlement. Andrew Jones of Space News frames it this way: China is not racing to the moon in the traditional sense. They are playing a long, strategic game, methodically building the infrastructure and technology needed for resource utilization and a lasting human presence. The stakes could not be higher. The moon's south pole holds the potential to support entire off-world ecosystems, and its ice deposits may one day fuel rockets destined for Mars and beyond. Control over these resources could shift the balance of power, not just in space, but here on Earth as well. The pressing question is, will peaceful collaboration among nations prevail, or are we witnessing the early stages of a new space race, one with consequences that could echo for generations? As China gears up for its next major leap, with the inaugural Long March 10 rocket launch scheduled for the year 2026, the eyes of the world are fixed on every development. The Mengzhou's technical progress has the potential to either inspire a new era of international cooperation or ignite a 21st century rivalry, reminiscent of the Cold War but with far greater technological sophistication. So, what does the Mengzhou's successful test really signify for the coming decade of space exploration? Let's dive deeper into the possibilities and why this matters for every one of us. Envision, if you will, a permanent lunar base near the moon's south pole, possibly operational by the early years of the 2030s. Should China achieve this audacious goal, it will represent the first enduring human outpost beyond Earth since the legendary Apollo program of the late 20th century. Experts argue that such a base could catalyze an entirely new era in lunar science, resource extraction, and the exploration of the broader solar system. Quentin Parker, for instance, asserts, "We're living through a renaissance of space exploration, one powered by both competition and cooperation." The potential opportunities are breathtaking. Lunar water ice, especially abundant in shadowed craters at the South Pole, could be mined and converted into water, breathable oxygen, and even hydrogen for rocket fuel. This would shift the economics of space travel, making the moon not just a destination, but a vital supply depot for missions to Mars, Venus, or even the asteroid belt. The Mengzhou's advanced environmental control systems, designed to minimize the need for resupply from Earth, hint at a future where astronauts could live, work, and conduct research on the moon for months or even years at a time. This is about far more than planting a flag. It's about constructing a sustainable ecosystem in space, setting the stage for humanity's expansion into the cosmos. But, as with all great leaps, there are significant risks. Lunar mining, if not carefully managed, could result in unforeseen environmental impacts, altering the delicate balance of the moon's surface or unleashing dust and debris that could threaten both equipment and human health. There are also growing concerns about the weaponization of space infrastructure. If nations rush to stake territorial claims or militarize their lunar operations, we could see the return of Cold War-style tensions. Only this time, the competition would play out on a new extraterrestrial frontier, with 21st-century technology amplifying both the risks and the rewards. Yet, there are encouraging signs that a more collaborative future is possible. China's willingness to share lunar data through the International Lunar Research Station and its joint projects with the European Space Agency suggest a pragmatic openness to international partnerships. Chinese taikonaut Fei Junlong recently articulated a hopeful vision, stating, "The exploration and development of space is a cause for all humankind. Only by working together can we unlock the mysteries of the universe." What does all of this mean for those of us back on Earth? First, it is a compelling reminder that breakthroughs in one nation can ripple across the globe, shaping everything from international policy and economics to scientific understanding. The race for lunar resources, especially water ice, could fundamentally change how we think about energy, manufacturing, and even the cost and frequency of satellite launches. Should space travel become more routine and affordable, entire new industries may emerge, creating jobs and opportunities we can scarcely imagine today. For students, engineers, and entrepreneurs, this is a clear call to action. Now is the time to immerse yourself in aerospace engineering, robotics, artificial intelligence, and sustainable technologies. The expertise honed through lunar missions will inevitably make its way into everyday life, just as innovations from the Apollo era gave us everything from advanced materials to miniaturized electronics and even medical imaging devices. If you want to play a part in humanity's next great leap, there has never been a better moment to get involved. But there is a deeper lesson as well. The future of space is not just about which country gets there first or plants a flag the highest. It is about whether humanity, as a species, can come together to tackle monumental challenges and build something that benefits all. Andrew Jones of Space News summarizes the stakes. China isn't racing to the moon. They're building a foundation for the next century of exploration. The real question is whether the rest of the world will join them, compete with them, or both. Let's take a closer look at the technological breakthroughs underpinning this new era. The Mengzhou spacecraft's zero-altitude escape test was not just a routine safety check. It validated a system designed for reusability and adaptability, a leap forward from earlier single-use capsules. The use of sophisticated airbag technology, as explained by space expert Pang Jihao, means that future missions could see capsules that are not only safer, but also more cost-effective and capable of landing in diverse environments. These airbags offer buoyancy, improved landing stability, and the potential for rapid reuse, significantly lowering the barriers to frequent lunar missions. The Long March 10 rocket, scheduled for its maiden flight in the year 2026, will be another game-changer. As noted by Long Lehao of the China Academy of Launch Vehicle Technology, this rocket will dramatically enhance China's capacity to deliver heavy payloads to lunar transfer orbit. This is not just about sending more weight, it is about enabling more complex missions, including the assembly of lunar habitats, delivery of scientific instruments, and even the construction of infrastructure for resource extraction and processing. China's Chang'e program continues to lay the groundwork for all of this, with upcoming missions such as Chang'e 8 focusing specifically on the technologies needed for a self-sufficient lunar base. These missions are experimenting with in-situ resource utilization, using local materials to build habitats, generate power, and produce water and oxygen. If successful, these technologies could one day be exported to Mars or other planets, multiplying the impact of China's lunar ambitions across the solar system. Let's dig into the broader implications. Establishing a permanent lunar base could open the door to deep space exploration on a scale previously thought impossible. Imagine spacecraft launching from the low-gravity environment of the Moon, carrying supplies or even crews bound for Mars, Jupiter's moons, or the distant Kuiper Belt. The Moon could become a hub for scientific research in fields ranging from lunar geology and astrophysics to the study of cosmic rays and the origins of life. The successful extraction and use of lunar water ice could transform space travel, providing a sustainable source of rocket propellant and life support, and reducing our dependence on costly Earth-based launches. There are also significant geopolitical ramifications. Increased international cooperation in lunar exploration could lead to joint missions, data sharing agreements, and shared infrastructure. This, in turn, could foster a more peaceful and collaborative approach to space, reducing the risk of conflict and encouraging the free exchange of ideas. However, the flip side is sobering. Competition for lunar resources could fuel tensions between major powers, with disputes over territory, technology, and access to vital resources potentially leading to new forms of geopolitical rivalry. Environmental concerns cannot be overlooked either. The Moon, though barren, is a unique and scientifically valuable environment. Unregulated mining or construction could disturb its delicate surface, destroy pristine scientific sites, or generate clouds of dust that interfere with both human activity and robotic missions. The international community will need to develop clear rules and protocols to ensure that lunar development proceeds in a responsible and sustainable way. So, as we stand on the brink of a new space age, what should you be watching for? Here are 3 key trends to track. First, the pace of technological innovation. Every successful test, like the Mengzhou's recent escape demonstration, brings us closer to routine lunar travel. Watch for announcements about new rockets, habitats, and life support systems, the building blocks of a permanent presence on the Moon. Third, the emergence of new industries. As lunar resources become accessible, we may see the rise of companies focused on mining, manufacturing, and even tourism. The economic ripple effects could be profound, reshaping industries here on Earth and creating opportunities in education, engineering, and research. As we look ahead, remember that the story of lunar exploration is still being written. The decisions made today, in laboratories, launch centers, and government offices, will shape the future of space for generations to come. Will the Moon become a flashpoint for rivalry, or a platform for unprecedented cooperation? And here's a little-known fact that most people overlook. The Mengzhou's successful safety test is about more than just protecting astronauts. The system is designed for reusability and quick turnaround. This means that future missions could be launched more frequently and at lower cost, accelerating scientific discovery and economic development both in space and on Earth. Are you ready to witness the dawn of a new era in human exploration? Now is the time to get involved, whether by pursuing a career in STEM, following the latest developments in space policy, or simply staying informed and engaged. Hit subscribe, leave your thoughts and questions in the comments. How do you think China's lunar vision will reshape our collective future? Stay tuned for more